It's a lie. You are not afraid of change. A lot of people convince themselves they have not changed because they're afraid of it. No, you're afraid of failure. And those are two different things. See, the thing is, you just want proof. You want proof that if you put into that time, you're going to get something out of it. You want proof that if you go to the gym, then you're going to get that body. You want proof that if you go to that school, you're going to get a degree that pays good money. You just want proof. And it's nothing wrong with that. But the problem that you have is you're looking for proof in the wrong areas. You're looking for proof in the wrong spaces and places when all you have to do is look in the mirror. I want you to think about this, right? There's something called a proof of concept. And this is what individuals do before they create something. And we're going to use the analogy of a business. When a business is creating a product, they need a proof of concept. They need to write out a business plan. They need to figure out how much it's going to cost to make, how much it's going to sell. They need proof that this is actually going to be a business before they actually create this thing. And you think the same way too, whether you realize it or not. See, you need proof that if you put in time and money into doing this thing, that you are going to get what you want outside of this thing. And if the proof of concept does not work, then similar to a business, you scratch it and you do not continue to go with it. But I want you to understand the problem that you have is your proof of concept is your yesterday. You are convincing yourself that you cannot achieve certain things, that you cannot do certain things based upon what you did yesterday, based upon what you did the day before. And I want you to understand you have to forget yesterday. You have to forget anything that is not convincing you, that is not pushing you in the direction, giving you the mindset that you can do what you say you want to do and you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. I want you to understand it is not as hard as you make it seem, and it honestly makes sense if you think about it. For example, 5 years ago, right, you probably thought different. You probably possibly talked different. You probably lived in a different space. You were probably a completely different individual from who you are now. And though it's easy to tell ourselves, well, I'm different because I experienced this, and I'm different because I went through that, but you don't understand it was a choice. See, you chose to think differently because there's individuals who went through a lot of the same things you went through, and they still are the same person. So it was a choice that you made one day, whether you realize it or not, that you said, I'm going to change. It was a choice that you made one day when you woke up and you said, I'm not going to think like this. I'm not going to talk like this. I'm not going to walk like this anymore. But the problem is, since it was an unconscious decision, you can't put a time on it. You can't put a date on it. So you can't exactly figure out when that choice was made, but you just know you're different. But the thing that I'm asking you to do now is just make that choice consciously. Consciously say the things that are no longer serving me anymore, I'm going to choose to forget about them, because if I do not, that thing will be an anchor that is going to weigh me down, because it already has been weighing me down from achieving the things I want to achieve. I want you to understand what is holding you back is your proof of concept from yesterday. I want you to think about it like this for a business, right? If a business was to come out with a product and one of their products was not selling well, one of their products was actually causing them to lose money, one of their products was not working well, they would not keep creating that product and putting it on shelves. Why? Because eventually that product will become a liability. Eventually that product will hold them down. Eventually that product will start costing them money and cutting into the products that are making money and cutting into them possibly evolving and doing more. So what do they have to do? They have to get rid of that product. And I want you to understand you have to do the same thing when it comes to things that are no longer serving you. When it comes to your yesterdays, when it comes to you starting that business and you stop doing it for whatever reason, when it came to you going to the gym and then you stopped going, I want you to understand, yes, you were not able to graduate high school and go straight to college. Yes, you were not able to start that business and become a millionaire or make all this money and you quit. But why does that mean you can't start over? Remember that mindset that you had when you graduated high school and you had all these ideas and this mindset of what you wanted to do with your life? Have that same mindset. Forget the in-between when life wore down on you. Forget the in-between when people convinced you and knocked you down and made you feel too old and made you feel not enough and made you feel like you can't do it. I want you to understand, forget the in-between of when you started that business and it got hard, and when you started that business and the money start going down and then people stop booking with you or your products start selling. Have that same mindset as when you first started. That the ideas that you have for yourself, the money that you thought you were going to make, the places you thought you were going to, experiences that you wanted to have. Because I want you to understand there is a piece of you that is going to use those things as learning, as going to use those things as wisdom to know what not to do moving forward. But I want you to understand the bigger piece that you're holding on to, almost as if it's a cage, is the piece of you that is remembering when you did not achieve those things, when you did not do those things, when you essentially failed. That is your proof of concept. Imagine a business if every proof of concept they had was a failing proof of concept. Do you think that business will make any money? If every single time they came up with a business plan, at the end of the business plan, they said, well, this is why this thing is not going to make money. This is why this thing isn't going to sell. Will they ever sell any products? Will they ever get off the ground? Will they ever achieve the things they want to? No. So why do you think you can do the same thing? One of the greatest gifts that I've given to myself is my ability to forget my losses and use pieces of my losses as wisdom. Take the things out of my losses to tell myself I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but never using my losses as an excuse for why I can't do something. You wanted to do that thing, right? You wanted to go after that thing, right? So what's the difference? Oh my gosh, you got older. Oh my gosh, you got more responsibilities. Oh my gosh, what? Life. And it's going to get more. More stuff is going to happen. And so what are you going to, every single time you don't achieve something in life, you're going to use that as an excuse not to go forward? I want you to think about that even when you were a child. Imagine every single time you cried, your parents or your guardian said, I'm not dealing with this child no more. Imagine every single time you used the bathroom on yourself, they said, you know what is the point of me even teaching her or him how to use the bathroom, because they always use the bathroom on themselves. No, time after time again, you stuck it out. Time after time again, when you were trying to get up to walk, you fell. But it's so easy to forget those time periods when life starts wearing down on us. It's so easy to forget those time periods when we are thinking too much about yesterday. I need you to forget your yesterdays. I need you to forget anything and honestly everything that is no longer serving you. Because if it is not serving you, it is holding you down. It is not a lot. There's but so much space that we have in our brain. There's but so many memories that we can hold on to. There's but so many experiences that we can hold on to. You do not remember everything from the day you were born to today. And so certain things you're going to have to pluck out. Certain things you're going to have to forget. Certain things you're going to have to just use that as learning lessons. One thing I always say is charge it to the game. When certain things, I'm playing this game called life. You are too, whether you realize it or not. But I realize it consciously. I'm playing this thing called life. And so when certain things happen the way I don't want them to be, when certain things happen and I'm in positions that I don't necessarily want to be in, a lot of times I charge stuff to the game. I can't get mad. I can't get frustrated. I can't get and use that as an excuse for later on. In the moment, I allow myself to feel, but then I always remind myself, forget yesterday. That's what you need to do. There's so many individuals, right? I was recently watching an interview with he's done so much. He's a podcaster, he's an author, he's a public speaker. But Wallow 267, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he has a podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game. This man did 20 years in jail. 20 years in jail. And he came out of jail. And he's now a multimillionaire. He came out of jail and he built all these businesses. He came out of jail and he literally said, he came out of jail in his late 30s, if I'm not mistaken. I think about 37, 38. He's in his mid 40s. And he said, by the time I'm 50, I'm done. He was like, I might help people start their businesses. I might help people, whatever, but I'm done starting businesses. I'm done doing all this other stuff. So in between now into 50, which I think he's like 5 years away or something like that. He's like, I'm going hard. I'm do-da-da. Imagine that. A man that spent 20 years in jail comes out in 38 to 50? What's that, 12 years? And goes 12 years on his grind and laps how many people? There's some individuals that are 50 plus and they can't take a day off of work. There's some individuals that are 50 plus that have no money in their savings. There's some individuals that are 50 plus that are still wishing they started that business, that are still wishing they moved to that state, that are still wishing. And it's so easy when you're younger to look at it as, oh, by the time I'm 50, I'm going to have this. By the time I'm 50, I'm going to have that. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you can't forget yesterday. There's people who are older than you that are still thinking about your age. You think you're so young and you think the experiences that you're going through right now, if you do not learn how to forget yesterday, you're going to hold on to those experiences and use those as excuses on why you can't go forward. And you're going to allow somebody who did 20 years in jail to lap you 50 times over. Multi-millionaire. How? He ain't even been out of jail. He got out of jail in what, 2017? He's not even been out of jail for 10 years. It hasn't even been 10 years. But what did he do? He figured out a plan. He figured out a mission. He said, I did my time. I paid my dues to society. I'm not holding myself down telling myself I'm a felon. I'm not holding myself down telling myself I'm a convict, so I don't deserve this and I can't go after this and I can't go after that. He forgot his yesterdays. But during that time period, he used what he learned when he was in jail for 20 years, the wisdom that he got, the experiences that he got, and he used that as a launching pad as far as going further. So why can't you? Why can't you? You've been outside for how long? You've been out here for how long? What's your proof of concept? You're alive. Point blank, period. You're alive. That's all you need. You don't need to keep telling yourself that you can't do something because you haven't done it before. You can't keep telling yourself that you can't go places because you haven't went there before. Like I said, you can't meet people because you haven't met them before. Everything is not done until it's done. Literally, the light is not turned on unless it's off first. For somebody to say, hey, if you turn that light on, it must be off, right? It must be in a opposite position. So for you to say, I want to make more money, it means that you need to be making more that you're currently making now, which means it must be different in what you're doing now. And I really want you to think about that. How many of your yesterdays are you holding on to as a proof of concept? As a proof of why you can't do what you want to do? As a proof of why you can't? Listen. You know you're enough. You wouldn't have those dreams. You wouldn't have those aspirations on your heart, on your mind, on your brain if you weren't. They wouldn't be there. You are enough. You can do it. And you will do it if you decide to forget about your yesterday. You will do it if the proof of concept, all you need to convince yourself to do it is that I got me. That's how I know any dream that I have in life I can do because I'm me. That's it. That's all. I'm me. What do you mean I can't do that? I'm me. What do you mean I can't get my dream body? I'm me. I can't get my dream bank account. I'm me. I don't need to prove, oh, remember when you, no, I actually don't. I chose not to remember that. Remember when you, don't. That's how I am. Backspace, delete, backspace, delete. But that's how I need you to be. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also do not forget to forget about your yesterdays if they are no longer serving you.